Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Wisdom of Wildly Creative Women. Real stories from inspirational, artistic, and empowered women. By Angela Lomenzo. Narrated by Sara Sheckells. I want to sing like the birds sing, not worrying about who hears or what they think. Rumi. Forward by Kathy Rose. When Angela and I first met, it felt as though I had known her for 100 lifetimes. Talking with her always feels like a safe and sacred space. She is an artist who has a spiritual directive to heal the heart of humanity and works incessantly to transform the imbalances of this world into love. Through compassion and a profound artistic talent, she encourages women to bring forth a revolutionary vision to empower their passions. It is a great honor to be included in this work of art which Angela has created as a gift to us all. She is an ambassador of peace and advanced consciousness who embodies the divine feminine principles. The way this book shines a light on the importance of nurturing creativity from childhood on resonates deeply with me. We all have it within us from the moment we are born, and it is so important to be allowed the freedom to discover where that creativity lies. I was fortunate to be raised by two extremely beautiful human beings who are directly responsible for cultivating mine. When I was a child, living in Tehran, my parents invited friends from all around the world to visit us. Among them, professors, artists, singers, musicians, and poets. I was surrounded by the arts and creative minds. My mother painted the den walls with murals of various trees, and I looked upon it as an enchanted forest. I have carried on the tradition of my mother's painted trees in my own house. My children, Saffron Valentine and Quinn Argyle, have a chalkboard wall, and there's another one in our living room that is meant for expressing ourselves. Right now, it's all glitter. Rainbow glitter. I want my children to feel free to be artistic and believe in themselves and their creativity with absolute trust. I also want them to experience the magic and miracle of nature. Most of all, to know that art is everything. Angela has cultivated these exquisite women for their uniqueness and their willingness to forge new pathways of thought and emotional intelligence. Every artist in this book has expressed an authentic, passionate, and courageous life path, while transcending the limits of what was previously thought possible. It is in the presentation of female leadership that wisdom is uncovered as a force to be revered in every facet of our lives. When women celebrate each other and nurture their beauty within, it transforms into collaboration. In my eyes, beauty stems from self-worth and grace. You can't compete with grace. I explain this to my kids by saying, whoever is around you is your mirror. Seeing my kids grow into such beautiful human beings and positive mirrors keeps me focused on staying in a positive light right there with them. You get what you are, and you get what you think about most of the time. How you show up to people and where your vibration is how you will be treated. It's all about the journey and who you're walking with in this lifetime. I've learned so much about intention as I've grown older, with relationships, discernment, and in what I create. How we are serving and giving back to each other and the world. That's what matters the most. When we honor every living being on this earth, we harmoniously thread together this tapestry of life. My words are written in loving gratitude for Angela and all the women in this book, as well as every sister who is striving to expand herself into a higher state of self-discovery and grace. When Angela asked me where the courage to choose a creative career came from, my mind became oddly silent. Honestly, I had never thought about that before. I never questioned the action of being driven by what called to my heart. It's non-negotiable for me. It all starts with being authentically who you are. Once you know that, there are no limits to what you can do. It becomes a labor of love without fear. After going through this beautiful book, you can't help feeling the fortitude to bravely march into a world where anything is possible. About Kathy Rose, jewelry designer. The rose is a symbol of love at first sight, which is precisely what happens when you meet Kathy Rose for the first time. She is the magic of the desert and the serenity of the sea. Being in her presence is immediately grounding. Her beauty and style are striking. A bohemian warrior interlaced with polished elegance. Her tranquil nature is pure love and humility. She exemplifies the essence of this book perfectly, and I am so fortunate to have the book's foreword written by such a beautiful soul. Because of her humble nature, I felt compelled to sing the praises of this accomplished creative. Kathy, whose birth name is Katayun, was born in Tehran, Iran. When she was 7, her family relocated to the beaches of San Diego, California. Both places nourished her love of nature. Kathy started officially designing jewelry in 1999 and opened Rose Arc in 2000 with then-husband Rick Rose. Rose Arc is a luxury goods store and gallery in Los Angeles featuring trend-setting collections of jewelry from cutting-edge artists around the world. Rose Arc is her kingdom of creativity. It electrifies your mind with inspiration and imagination. Her Earth Mother energy influences the designs of her jeweled creations, which include exquisite creatures and elements from land, sea, and sky, as well as pieces honoring Native American cultures. Just as the beauty of nature has no limits, neither does her creative vision. Her first design piece was created with the intention of replacing a childhood fear of snakes with honor. The snake cuff elegantly wraps a diamond-encrusted snake around your wrist, a dainty yet strong interpretation of this symbol of transformation, wisdom, and healing. Celebrities who have embraced this design include Rihanna, Penelope Cruz, and Meryl Streep, who wore it on the cover of W magazine. It has since become one of her classic designs and is always in high demand. Kathy's next design, the icicle earring, was worn by Cameron Diaz in the film Vanilla Sky, Courtney Cox on the cover of People magazine, and Demi Moore at the Charlie's Angels premiere, and was purchased for Madonna all in 1 month. After that, Kathy Rose designs were everywhere, and her career exploded. Another cult classic of hers is the eagle cuff, in single and double-tailed versions. When asked what animal she connects with most, she emphatically replied, "The eagle. I am completely drawn to their energy, but I am not exactly sure why." I can see why. The eagle symbolizes a connection to the divine because it flies higher than any other bird and looks at things from a higher perspective. Kathy is always seeking higher ground in everything she does. On my last visit to Rose Arc, I looked out the window, admiring the beautiful Zen garden in the courtyard. Birds were joyfully singing while perched in the trees. Entranced by the space's blissful energy, I left there that day, seeing colors a little brighter and taking things a little slower, making sure to stop and smell the roses. Introduction. Everyone wants a friend who gets them, someone who can see you, the real you. I found that person after a series of life-altering events left me feeling broken, defeated, and withdrawn. I had blown out the candle on my passions and fallen into a place of darkness. Our like-minded connection instantly lifted the veil of loneliness I had been experiencing. Then, just as quickly as she came into my life, she left. This beautiful, talented, and brilliant woman was taken from this world in an instant. Though our time together was brief, the impact her vivacious spirit had on me was everlasting. She became my light, my angel, and the spark that started me on the path to writing this book. It didn't happen overnight, but as soon as I took my first step in that direction, a shift occurred. The impossible suddenly felt possible, and I moved forward with conviction and clarity. Her most profound message to me came after her memorial service, when friends and family gathered at her home. This talented artist's last project was the intricate undertaking of covering her floor-to-ceiling fireplace with gorgeous glass mosaics, all different shades of blue and green. I wandered into the living room to admire her work and was taken aback. It had never been completed. The unfinished fireplace stood there half naked, with no fire inside. In that moment, she spoke to me about how precious life is, how important every minute is, and how I shouldn't spend another day without my dreams on the horizon. I listened. I woke up, and I began to live again. This time guided by the longings in my heart and the voice of my soul. It didn't take long to uncover the inspiration that would be the key to unlocking my creativity. The exceptional and talented women who've been around me all along. When I reached out to them, their response was one of support and sincerity. In doing so, I discovered they too had visited those dark and empty places. I saw how connected we were as women, in our struggles as well as our aspirations. The power of this vibrant female energy touched me so deeply, I wanted to channel those feelings and emotions I was experiencing to other women. Wisdom of Wildly Creative Women is the birth of that desire, featuring the stories of 25 accomplished and free-spirited women who have an uncompromising drive to pursue their passions. Collectively, these visionaries have faced tremendous adversities and overcome them with strength and resilience. They have courageously shared their stories for the sole purpose of helping other women rise. I am in awe of their generous and compassionate hearts and grateful to have the privilege of bringing their life-changing experiences to light. My 100+ hours of conversations with these extraordinary women revealed several common traits among them. One was seizing opportunities as they present themselves, even in unfamiliar territory. Their mantra is, "Jump first and learn later." Another prevalent characteristic was the ability to trailblaze careers for their unique talents. If there wasn't a position available, they created one, proving the secret is to believe. in yourself and your intuition. Quiet the voices that can hold you back and instill self-doubt or shame, and listen to the call of your innermost self. Trust it, and you will be directed to where you need to go. These women have all silenced the sounds of disapproval and found a way to burst out of the box of discontent and into a world of wonder and fulfillment. Who are the most successful people in the world? The ones who dare to be different and fearlessly stand out in the crowd. Those who embrace their adversities and perceived imperfections, recognizing these are the very gifts that give them the edge and advantages in their lives. Honor your battle scars and celebrate them. After all, that's what transforms us into warriors. Interviewing these badass creatives has had an enduring effect on me, and I am so excited for readers to be moved by their stories just as I have been. My hope is that whoever listens to this book will find themselves somewhere, if not everywhere. My heart breaks to think of anyone feeling alone, in pain, or like an outcast. We are all unified by the human experience, and should never have to feel alone in our time of need. Let the warmth and positivity captured in this book illuminate for you the possibilities and beauty in your life, and never forget to color your world with creativity. Now go out and find your magic, that which ignites your flame. Finish your fireplace and keep the fire burning, no matter who or what may try to extinguish it. This is your life, to decorate with all that fills your mind, body, and spirit with absolute joy. Chapter 1. Out of This World artist, Chloe Trujillo. Artist, designer, musician. How did the rose ever open its heart and give to this world all its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. Hafiz. What do you do when you're going to Chloe Trujillo's house, high atop the Santa Monica Mountains, and your GPS goes out? You follow the color. I did just that when I saw a vibrant pop of yellow peeking through the other houses, and yes, when you follow the yellow brick road, you do find Oz. Chloe's Oz, and it's a magical place to be. This sublime sanctuary, built into a cascading mountain of rocks, is filled with artistic energy that arouses your creative spirit the minute you walk through the door. The atmosphere for each room's color and mood is centered around her mystical paintings that grace the walls throughout the home. There are so many magnificent details that you could go back 100 times and still discover something new. Chloe and her husband, Robert, designed this house together and filled it with furnishings from their world travels. The mosaic work alone will leave you awestruck. Her home directly reflects her personal style. She is a living and breathing work of art that transforms daily. Chloe's floor-length hair, which has never been cut since the day she was born, is an ever-changing sculpture that creates the imagery of a modern-day mythical figure. She is in a constant state of limitless forward motion with her art, adorning guitars, surfboards, skateboards, shoes, guitar straps, scarves, handbags, swimwear, and dresses. Chloe has single-handedly built an international fashion and art empire that is growing by the minute. You can also add musician and author to her list of accomplishments. She is currently working on new music and an illustrated children's book. How does someone incite this kind of prolific artistry? Chloe takes us on her journey, a healing journey that led her to where she is today. Chloe was born and raised in Paris by fashion designer parents and is the eldest of 3 daughters. Though it's hard to believe now, she was an introverted young girl and used art as her predominant form of communication. I talked, but I was shy, and art was definitely my way of expressing feelings that I had a hard time expressing with words. I was always drawing, and it helped me release all the stuff I wanted to say. The fact that she lived in a non-traditional family of artists and musicians made Chloe's life quite divergent from those of her school peers. My parents being artistic and my grandfather being an opera singer, I always felt that we were different and wondered, how can I make friends who understand me when they can't even relate to how I live? That all changed for Chloe with the discovery of the punk movement. It was the catalyst to finding her voice and providing an environment to develop her freedom of expression. Actually, that was where I found my own people. That's when I felt less shy and more able to express myself with ease. It gave me the freedom to be myself. I gained confidence when nobody was judging me, and I could leave my house dressed however I wanted, feeling better in my own skin. I felt like, finally, instead of trying to fit into something that didn't really fit me, I found something that was more connected to who I was, what I was feeling, and how I wanted to live. Even though her parents had artistic careers, Chloe's father strongly encouraged her to focus on math and science because he knew firsthand how hard it can be to pursue a career in the arts. You always hear about people excelling at either art or mathematics, but not Chloe. She is incredibly adept at both. She studied the structure of matter and quantum mechanics at Pierre and Marie Curie University in Paris and earned a degree in mathematics and physics. Soon after, she got the courage to tell her father she had decided art was her calling, and she was going back to college for an art degree. After graduating, she moved from job to job until a violent brush with death awakened an inner storm that steered her toward a transformative life path. It happened at a time when doubts, questions, and insecurities were consuming her thoughts. She was working a 9-to-5 retail job, still active in the arts, but holding back and floating in stagnant waters. I ended up doing little jobs I didn't care about. I had given up on everything I really loved and was passionate about, leaving me depressed, with no taste for life. I loved painting, I loved singing, I loved music, and I loved dancing. But my insecurities were coming to the surface. Giving up on all of that made life meaningless to me. Then, one fateful afternoon, as Chloe walked up the stairwell to her apartment, a man viciously attacked her. I remember the exact moment when I switched my energy and it saved my life. Even though I try to forget every other moment, I remember the fighting. I know the guy grabbed my hand and headbutted me. I fell, and he pulled the back of my hair and was banging my head along the stairs. He told me, "If you make any sounds, I will kill you." I didn't know if he had a weapon, so I stayed silent. I lived in one of those Parisian apartments that have the staircases with windows built in halfway through. This is where it was happening. He ripped my pants, and then I turned my head trying to resist the beating while I looked up at the sky through the window. That's when I made the decision. I do care about my life. A switch went off, and I got so much adrenaline and power. I am not going to be raped. I am not going to be killed. I knew that's what he wanted to do. So with new strength, I was determined to fight. It is ridiculous to think of now, but when I was fighting back, I was worried about hurting him. It's not in me to hurt somebody. I was fighting, and suddenly he got up and started running. I think because it was the middle of the afternoon, he probably started thinking somebody would show up soon. I got up and started running after him. I got out the main door of my apartment building and realized my pants were hanging down and I was bloody all over. There were 2 girls out front. One took me in her arms and called the authorities, while the other one ran after him. Then he disappeared into the subway. I was called into the police station to describe him for a portrait sketch and to look at suspects in a lineup behind the mirror a few times. It was always frightening, because I didn't want to see his face again. I just wanted to forget about him, yet I didn't want this to happen to anybody else. Now it was time for Chloe to find her way back to herself after escaping death. The brutal assault caused her a tremendous amount of pain, physically and emotionally. Despite this, she feels it sent her in the direction she needed to go. The attack made me realize that I care about living. I care about my life. I care about it all. There was so much inside of me that I wanted to bring out, but a bit of fear always held me back. Now I felt, what's the point of holding back? What do I risk? Nothing. If people don't like it, so be it. You can't please everybody. Despite these renewed feelings of empowerment, she was still traumatized. She was able to find comfort expressing herself through singing. I was at the point where I couldn't walk the streets because I would freeze from loud sounds. I didn't show it on the outside, but I couldn't breathe. Singing was so healing for me. The breath and the sound helped me so much. She continued to explain how profoundly her life became unblocked after the attack. That attack made me more courageous and made me not care about what other people think. I did an audition. I got a free place to stay in New York, and a bunch of other things after that. The fact that I accepted going there opened up all of this positive energy. I think the depressive state I was in had closed me up. And once I came to think, what have I got to lose? That all changed. That's also the time I reconnected with my spiritual side. I was always feeling and seeing things as a young girl, but had to shut it down. Once I got out of that state, I found my way back to that part of me. Chloe worked to overcome the effects of the attack with various healers and holistic practitioners. All of that energy work brought me back to the awareness of how energy affects everything around us. I started doing energy work more and more after that. Chloe has a signature style that is definitely Chloe Trujillo, something artists spend a lifetime trying to achieve. She broke through all obstacles to find artistic self-discovery in its purest form. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes something from your gut. First, I went to regular art school and learned all the techniques on how to paint correctly using oils, acrylics, watercolors, Chinese ink, and engraving. It's almost like you learn the techniques so you can put them aside and integrate them into your own style. At that point, you can be yourself and feel free from having your own way of doing things or seeing things. Finding your own voice and your own self takes a long time. It's all connected to your experiences in life. It's you and who you are. I did a lot of introspective searching and exploration. Then it slowly evolved. It's also not being afraid of judgment. It's not censoring yourself because you're worried about people liking or connecting with it. It's about being okay with being yourself. And that's not always easy. She also has an innate ability to balance both sides, The organized map.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?